Saturday, November 29th at approximately 12:46 a.m., the Austin police officers responded to a call of a deceased person located at 2101 Rio Grande Street. The decedent, later identified as Brianna Auiglera, was located on the ground with trauma consistent to having fallen from a higher floor. Brianna was pronounced deceased at 12:56 a.m.
So were you thinking like, oh, this is just like normal party stuff? Do you hear stuff like that a lot here?
I do, but this was like kind of different.
Rodriguez tells us she heard arguing coming from the apartment, which lines up with what Aguilera's mom reportedly found on her daughter's phone. Text messages showing that the teen was fighting with one of the girls she was staying with that weekend.
I heard a lot of running, and then we started hearing screaming and stuff. My parents said that it sounded like, something really bad happened, and that's why we were a little suspicious.
Y'all seen that press conference that the police said? There was some stuff that they said that I got some questions about. I want to know if you peeped it. Fugitive TV, stay tuned. Welcome to Fugitive TV, and I'm your host, Ray Marcel. We have been going over the Brianna Auiglera case. That was my last video, and we're right back where it started. Why? Because the Austin Police Department came out today with a press conference, pretty much to back up what they said, that she took her own life, that she jumped 17 stories to the ground by herself. So they came out with a press conference because they're looking bad right now. People are calling them, saying they're lying. It's all cap. They are lying. I still think they're lying. Well, they did a press conference today. I'm going to show you guys this press conference, okay? And there's some holes in these stories that they're saying, that they're telling us. I peeped them. I'm not a cop. I'm far from a cop. Matter of fact, this is called Fugitive TV because I ran from the law at one point for years. Y'all know the story. And if you don't, I was on the run for 15 years. That's why it's called Fugitive TV. So I know a little bit of something, but I also know that the police, they have to follow or are supposed to follow certain procedures in certain types of situations. Once again, this reminds me of Ellen Greenberg all over again. Not only that, we can go fictional. This almost reminds me of I Know What You Did Last Summer, especially the new version. The students or the young teens, whatever they are, to get away with, unaliving somebody, and later on it catches up to them. Kind of what it reminds me of. But anyway, we're going to take a look at this press conference, and I'm going to tell you about, there's some things that ain't making no sense.
I understand how grief and the need for answers can raise intense emotions and many questions. But sometimes the truth doesn't provide the answers we are hoping for, and that is this case. Please know that careful investigations take time. We must interview witnesses, collect evidence, and piece together facts. Releasing partial information too early can jeopardize the integrity of that case. I want to assure everyone that our team worked around the clock. These guys do not sleep. They worked around the clock on this case. And many of them are parents themselves. We used every available resource, interviewed numerous people, gathered evidence because we too want to understand what happened to Brianna, who was clearly loved by so many. I want to thank our homicide unit and victim services for their thorough work on this investigation and providing support for everyone that has been involved. I'm now going to turn it over to Detective Marshall, who will walk us through the timeline.
Morning. First, I'd like to start off by saying that our deepest sympathies and condolences go out to Brianna and her family. During this investigation, I've had a chance to speak with numerous members of her family and friend group, both here in Austin and College Station and in Laredo. All of them, it's completely apparent that she was very much loved. Every friend and witness during this investigation has been nothing but forthcoming and open during the entire time I've spoken with them. I've been in contact with dozens of people over the past week, and every single one of them has answered my calls, my text, submitted to interviews, and helped give answers from the moment that I've asked for that help. This also includes several people submitting to second interviews freely and without hesitation. The location this happened at, the 21 Rio apartments, have also been helpful since the very beginning of this investigation. They've allowed us around-the-clock access to the apartment which Brianna was last seen at, as well as access to their internal camera system, which has been very beneficial in establishing a timeline of that evening's events. On Saturday, November 29th, at approximately 12:46 a.m., the Austin police officers responded to a call of a deceased person located at 2101 Rio Grande Street. The decedent, later identified as Brianna Auiglera, was located on the ground with trauma consistent to having fallen from a higher floor. Brianna was pronounced deceased at 12:56 a.m. I, along with crime scene specialists, responded to process the scene and interview witnesses. A witness informed officers that they had heard a sound of a thud and then observed a female on the ground. Initially, it was unknown who the decedent was and on what floor she had fallen. The medical examiner arrived on scene, and the body was taken to the medical examiner's office, where she was later positively identified. In the meantime, I was able to contact one of the employees at the 21 Rio apartments at approximately 6 a.m. that same morning. The staff at 21 Rio were cooperative throughout this entire investigation. By approximately 10 a.m., we were able to access the camera's system inside the apartment complex just after 11 p.m. on Friday, November 28th, and that she went into a specific apartment on the 17th floor. Video surveillance has confirmed that a large group of friends left that same apartment at 12:30 a.m. on November 29th, leaving just Brianna and 3 other girls in the apartment. Now, on Saturday, November 29th, at approximately 12:54 p.m., I, along with patrol officers, made contact with the residents of that specific apartment that Brianna had been observed going into. The residents informed me that they were trying to report that their friend Brianna was missing. I was able later to confirm they had in fact placed a 911 call at 12:14 p.m. earlier that afternoon to report their friend Brianna was missing. They informed me that they were hosting friends for the Texas A&M football game and that Brianna was supposed to be staying there that preceding evening. I spoke with 3 different female witnesses on scene, as well as later a 4th witness who had left earlier that morning. The investigation showed that Brianna had been at a tailgate party earlier in the day and became intoxicated to a point that she was asked to leave the same tailgate. She had told her friends that she had lost her phone at some point near that tailgate. They had all returned to the apartment, where Brianna borrowed a phone of a friend to call an out-of-town boyfriend. Witnesses heard Brianna arguing on the phone with her boyfriend, which was also confirmed later by the boyfriend. Phones from both the phone Brianna used and the boyfriend's phone have confirmed through call logs that that call did occur. Now, this call occurred at approximately 12:43 to 12:44 a.m., approximately 1 minute. This is 2 minutes before the 911 call of the body found down below on the pavement. On Saturday, November 29th, it was found that Brianna's mother, Stephanie Rodriguez, had called the Austin Police Department at 12:50 p.m. This was in an attempt to locate Brianna. Rodriguez called back an hour later at 2 p.m. stating the location of her daughter's missing phone. The phone was located by Austin police officers in a wooded area by 3:30 p.m. that afternoon near Walnut Creek in a field by the Austin Rugby Club. Through this investigation, it was found that Brianna had attended the tailgate on Friday, November 28th at the Austin Rugby Club, arriving between 4 and 5 p.m. and then leaving at approximately 10 p.m. Witnesses stated that after Brianna was asked to leave the tailgate, she had repeatedly dropped her phone and staggered into a nearby wooded area where her phone and other items were later located by Austin police. Just after 4 p.m. on Saturday, November 29th, officers from the scene paged homicide to inform them that they had located the property belonging to Brianna and determined that there was also a separate deceased person call with the same name. Rodriguez was notified of Brianna's death just before 5 p.m. Brianna's phone was placed with the rest of her property still on the 17th floor of the apartment for her family to later receive. On Monday, December 1st, the mother and father of Brianna met with victim services and those of us in the homicide office at police headquarters. There, Rodriguez turned over Brianna's phone and gave it back to us. A further review of Brianna's phone shows a deleted digital suicide note dated Tuesday, November 25th, which was written to specific people in her life. From the moment this call originated up until now, between all of the witness statements, all of the video evidence, and all of the digital evidence collected, at no time did any evidence point to this being anything of a criminal nature. Rather, our investigation has revealed that unfortunately Brianna had made comments previously to friends back in October of this year. This continued through the evening of her death with some self-harming actions earlier in the evening and a text message to another friend indicating the thought. We recognize that hearing news like this can be difficult and may affect members of the community in very personal ways. If you or someone you know is experiencing emotional distress or mental health struggles, support is available. You can call or text 988 to reach the Suicide Crisis Lifeline, or contact Integral Care's 24-hour helpline at 512-472-HELP. That's 512-472-4357 to be connected with local crisis services, including mobile response teams. No one should have to navigate these kind of crises alone. Any questions?
Now open it up for questions.
Oh, you must have it?
Job.
Couple things. Was the mom made aware of these previous suicidal comments when you guys figured that out during the investigation? And I know a big part of this is trying to address some online speculation, so just wanted to bring up something that people have brought up about concerns about fights that Brianna may have gotten in with other people in that apartment.
Sure. The first part first. I was in contact with Brianna's mother beginning Saturday afternoon. We spoke through Sunday and Monday through the meeting here. Since then, I've attempted 4 times to contact her. I wanted to share this information privately. She did not reply to any of my attempts to talk to her until yesterday afternoon, where she asked me to talk to her lawyer. So I've not been in contact with her mother. However, her father I have been in contact with. He knows all of this information as of yesterday. And then secondly, the fight.
Yeah.
There have been online reports of a fight. The only evidence that we have of any kind of physical altercation was Brianna punching one of her friends as they tried to help her out of the party. We have no evidence of any other altercation.
Did the witnesses that y'all talked to give any reason why they didn't call 911 earlier that night?
So most of those witnesses, between the time of night that it was, they slept for some periods of time. They do have some text messages. They were worried. They assumed, because so many friends from their hometown were here in Austin staying at different locations, they had assumed she probably just went back out with another friend group that was in the immediate area, and nobody had any idea.
Did anyone watch her go over the balcony?
No, ma'am. No, we have no evidence to suggest that.
Can you share more about that deleted note that you mentioned? When was that deleted, and do you have information about how that was deleted?
So that phone is currently with our digital forensics units to be processed. It is being processed as of last night. I just know the date of it. I don't know exactly when it was typed, but I found it in the deleted items folder, and that's about all I can say at this point.
The date from the deleted item was from November the 25th, so it appears that's when it was written.
In the absence of the chatter that happened online about this, how would you have handled this investigation?
I hated the chatter probably as much as her family and everybody, and the living witnesses hate it. The problem is I can't make a public statement until I interview everyone, and several of these people we had interviewed 2 times. Video takes hours and hours, not only to get, but then to go through and process and look at. Her phone takes hours to go through. I've never been a part of an investigation that's happened as fast as I wanted to. We always wanted to go faster, but in this case, so many people knew her, so many people wanted to help us. Just to dig through all that information, unfortunately, it has taken 3 or 4 days.
How certain would you say y'all are, certain y'all are in this determination?
Just every investigation, we have to rely on the evidence, and all evidence in this case is indicative of suicide.
Can you share a little bit more about who was inside the apartment at the time that she fell, and were you able to speak with all of those people?
I won't share their names, obviously. Yes, I've been able to speak with every single person in there, all of them multiple times, actually, throughout this. They were just all friends. Again, this is all a large friend group from Laredo.
Is there anything that you can share about what she was last seen wearing? I've heard from a couple of people that they were questioning some of the wardrobe that was seen after the fact.
I'll speak to that. She was found wearing the same stuff she was wearing at the tailgate. Part of the reason it took 4 hours for the video surveillance, she was wearing something slightly different when she arrived back at the apartment. So that kind of threw things off to actually locate her. But she was wearing the exact same stuff from early in the evening.
It took a bit, I would say, to notify the mom. Was that because they'll have to go through me and do the identification, or what kind of was that?
Sure. Yeah, it took a while to positively identify her, but on top of that, as Detective Marshall had mentioned, about around 2 p.m. on that Saturday is when they'd actually set the gears in motion to try to notify her. So she had called about 12:50, and she was notified that same afternoon.
We'll take 2 more questions.
You mentioned an argument with her boyfriend before her death. How soon did that happen before her death? And were you able to make contact with him as well?
So I have spoken with him multiple times. That phone call happened approximately 2 minutes before the 911 call of her reporting her on the sidewalk.
Part of her mom's questioning is that you talked to friends or people that were in the apartment until Sunday. Maybe you said it in the timeline, can you tell us again when you started talking to people?
We first identified the apartment very late morning, early afternoon on Saturday. We talked to them immediately that very same time. And like I said, since then we've spoken multiple times to everyone that was in the apartment.
A little bit different of a question, but she is 19 and underage. Are any people, just gotta ask, any people being investigated for supplying the alcohol to her?
That would be a better question for Texas Alcohol Beverage Commission, TABC. I've been in very brief contact with them, but I don't know the status of anything that they're doing.
Thank you.
Now, if y'all picked up something, go ahead. Tell me below in the comments, because I read the comments all the time and I read what you guys say and I take in what you guys say and I might put it in the next video. But one thing I did pay attention to, when did he say they interviewed them? Do you remember? They didn't interview these kids till the next day. Do you know that? They did not interview these kids till the next day. So they came that night, found her on the ground. All right. Found her on the ground at night and took her body away. But they didn't interview the kids until the very next day. Meaning these kids got all night and half the next day to get their story straight. Here's one thing, okay? You know, one thing he didn't say? Now, they were like, oh, we took us hours to go through the phone. We found an old deleted note about her talking about unaliving herself back on November 25th that she deleted. All of us in life sometimes we go through some stuff and we might think about we going to do this to ourselves. And then we be like, never mind. I bet you half of you people watching this video and thought about it, maybe even wrote it down, was like, forget it. I ain't saying it's a normal thing, but a lot of people have done it. Just because you wrote a note on November 22nd or 25th and you deleted, so that means anytime in life if something happens to you after that, it's going to be labeled, you did it to yourself. Because one time you wrote this note that you deleted. So they spent all these hours going through her phone, going through her notes that she deleted. That's supposed to be on the cloud. But you know one thing he didn't say they did? If he would have said they did this, I might have believed them a little bit. But you know the one thing they didn't say? Did they go upstairs and fingerprint the balcony? Did they go upstairs and fingerprint the balcony? Do they have her fingerprints on the balcony? Because if you jumping off the balcony, remember they said the balcony is to her chest. If the balcony is to her chest, that means she got is her handprint on the balcony? Is there some sort of a chair by the balcony to where she can actually step up on the chair? And when she did that, she still got to put her hand on the balcony and go over. Did they say any of that? Did they mention them going up to that 17th floor apartment and doing any kind of DNA evidence up there? Did they mention any blood splatter? They mention any of that? Probably not. And you know why? You know those people had got that apartment clean right after they got interviewed. Right after they got interviewed, that apartment got cleaned. This is why I said Ellen Greenberg all over again. Ellen Greenberg, what happened to her? They found her, or her fiance found her in the apartment, poked herself 22 times, 10 in the front, 10 in the back. Police came in there and was like, she did it herself. They carried her off. And then what happened right after that? The attorney uncle came in, took all the computers, and then they hired a cleaning service. Professional crime scene cleaning service at that. You know, you pay more for a crime scene cleaning service. I know, I own a crime scene cleaning service company. You pay more for us than you do Molly Maid. So these people had the apartment clean the same day. So this is telling me that a cop's job, like I said in the beginning, I'm far from a cop. I'm far. But I know what you're supposed to do. When you show up to a scene and you have an unalive body, the first thing you're supposed to do is secure that scene. Secure it. Make sure nobody contaminates anything. Make sure none of that. Now, if somebody falls from the 17 floors, and they hit the concrete, I'm sorry to be brutal and be blunt, but you could see from all the splatter of probably, she took a fall from way up there. There's witnesses that said, witnesses, and that's, there's witnesses that said the cops were trying to eye the measurements of her falling because they did not have the proper resource and tools to measure correctly. How you a police force and you ain't got the proper tools to measure something correctly? You can't go to Home Depot, get an electric ruler, something. So they was eyeballing. But still, if you go to a crime scene and you see somebody on the concrete and they fall that far, it's not going to be pretty. So was every single one of these cops a rookie? Was it their first day on the job? Were they all in training? They didn't know it was the first time. They looked and it was like, oh, maybe she fell from the second story. Maybe she fell from the third or the fourth. There's a difference between falling from the second, third, and the fifth between 17 stories. Because the more your body falls, the more weight, the more you're going to hit and the more it's going to hurt, the more you're going to notice that. They said they went and they got video footage the next day. They got video footage the next day. Not the same night, the next day. And I had a feeling it was going to be the next day. You know why I had a feeling? Because I was like at 12 o'clock at night. How didn't we get the video footage in the first place? Because the office is closed unless the place has a security guard. Do they have a security guard? Any of y'all from Austin that lives in those apartments, let me know. Do y'all have a security guard? Because if there is a security guard, then the security guard probably could have given access to the cameras. But if there's no security guard, all right then. Maybe they didn't have access to the cameras, right? 10 o'clock in the morning is when, or what they say, 10 something? I'm sorry, there's still too many holes. I think right now, y'all just trying to cover up. And like they said, this is our first time ever doing a news conference about somebody unaliving themselves. So, yeah, it is, because y'all lying. Y'all think all of us is boo-boo the fools. No, it don't work that way. And I'm glad the mom clapped back. The mom came out and clapped back. She said, don't believe any of these lazy investigators. Our lawyer, Tony Busby, he is going to get justice. I don't know if y'all know who Tony Busby is. Tony Busby actually is a well-known attorney. I don't know if y'all been following the Diddy trial and all that, but Tony Busby made a lot of noise because I believe he's the one that brought most of those SCX allegations against Diddy. He's the one that brought most of them. This man has won a lot of money. I think he won, it was something like somebody got $41 million and $51 million over a spider bite. He got somebody it was either 40 or $50 million over a spider bite. A couple years before that, he got somebody who was $100 million or something. So Tony is known for going at you. And best believe he's going to sue everybody that's involved. As soon as I saw Tony's name, first thing I thought of was he going to sue the police department. He going to sue the apartment building because he going to say some sort of safety precaution should have been done. He gonna sue if they didn't have security guard. He gonna be like, y'all should have had security because it's college students. Trust me. He gonna be like, whose person was on the lease? What name was on the lease? And I said this before. And you know what? I got pictures of y'all. I know who was all at the party. I got some names, but I'm not gonna say them. But the person on the lease, I bet your parents got money, and he gonna sue out your parents too, and you, cause you over age. So all y'all gonna get sued. He gonna sue insurance companies. He gonna sue everybody that's involved. Let there be a chair next to the balcony. He's suing the chair company too. Everybody getting sued. That's how Tony Busby get down. He gonna sue everybody, and some money gonna start coming in. They gonna start settling. Here, take this, take that, take that, take this. Cause ain't none of them gonna go broke. Tony, if you're watching, you welcome to have my platform and speak anytime you want to. Anybody from Brianna's family watching, you're welcome to have my platform. You can come on and speak anytime you want to. I know you probably can't say much because now you have an attorney. That's why I said Tony Busby can always come on. He does have a press conference tomorrow. So I'm going to watch the press conference. Depending on what time it is, I might go live with it. But even if it's pre-recorded, I'm going to go live and we can all watch the press conference together. But what do y'all think? Let me know what you guys think. Does anything I said make sense, especially with the fingerprints, the palm print on the balcony? Y'all didn't secure the scene. Y'all questioned them the day after. I'm seeing a lot of cases where it seems like these police ain't doing their job correctly. And I never thought in my younger years I would have wanted the police to do their job correctly. But now that I'm older and I'm doing this channel and I'm trying to, give insight to other people, especially for people who need it, y'all need to do your job. Because like I say, I'm not even a cop. I don't even have a badge. But I even know what to do if I get on the scene. First of all, yellow tape this scene right here. Make sure nobody comes over to the body. Where it looked like she fell from. It had to be really up high, high, high. I tell you what, let me call some backup. We're going to go up and we're going to knock on every door. We're going to knock on every door. I don't care if it's 12 in the morning. Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Did you hear any commotion going on? Because there's a body outside your window right now. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Did you hear any commotion going on? Do you know this woman? Do you know this woman by chance? Because there's a body outside your window. That's what I'm doing. Because I'm going to get down to the bottom of it. That's what they're supposed to be doing anyway. But hey, I guess that's me, and that's why I'm on YouTube talking to you guys. But anyways, all my contacts below, TikTok, Fugitive TV, everything. If you want to message me, I've been reading some messages, and I'm going to do some cases that people have messaged me that they feel should get a little more, shine in the public spotlight. So I'm going to look at some of these as well. I'm your host, Ray Marcel. Please take care of one another. I'm going to be back tomorrow with this Tony Busby press conference. Fugitive TV, let me know what you think about what the police said. And if you live there, let me know if you live there too. In any city, I always say put your city down there. I think they're trying to stop these videos from actually getting pushed out there, to be honest with you. Fugitive TV, I'm out.